Hello friends and family, welcome to Kamira's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some delicious chicken meatballs and a cream sauce. Let's go ahead and get cooking. We are going to start by grinding some chicken. Now if you bought pre-ground chicken, you don't have to do this step, but I am going to process 3 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs in my food processor. I like to do this because I really like dark meat and I just think it comes out really juicy, but it is perfectly fine to buy the pre-ground at the store. It will be so good. And I just grind it until it gets a texture about like this, and that is good enough for me. Now let's season up this meat. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of my all-purpose seasoning. I'll link to how I made that, and 2 teaspoons of dried basil. I'm also putting in half of a small onion that I also minced in my food processor. You could just chop it really small. And I'm also putting in a teaspoon of garlic and a pinch of salt. To bind our mixture, I'm going to use 2 eggs, and I'm also going to put in a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. That's because I wanted to have more of a low carb option, but if that doesn't matter to you, half a cup of breadcrumbs would be perfect in this recipe. Because I used the ground flaxseed, my mixture wasn't quite as firm as some other mixtures, meatball mixtures might be, but that was okay because everything still cooked up well. But if you use the breadcrumbs, you're not going to have that issue. And you'll see as I'm forming these meatballs, they're kind of loose. So I really just kind of gently pat them into a round-ish shape so that they'll stay. If yours is a little firmer, you can palm roll them into that nice round meatball shape, but just patting it into shape was fine because I still got some really delicious meatballs from this mixture. So I just do that until I've done all my meatballs and they're all nice and put together. This is also a good thing that you could do a day in advance. You could go ahead and make all of them, put them in a plastic Tupperware, set them to the side so that when it comes time to cook, they're already ready to go. This is a great meal prep option for you if you're ever trying to save time in the kitchen, especially on the weekends. Now, in a cast iron skillet, I've heated up 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to place in my chicken and meatballs. As they cook, they're going to flatten out just a little bit on one side, which is totally fine with me. You also have the option of baking these meatballs. That would be really good as well. I let them cook for about 4 minutes until they got a little nice brown color, because you know that brown color just says flavor to me. It just says, this is going to be good caramelized spices. I just love seeing a little color on my food, y'all. And now I'm just going to flip them over. I'm going to continue turning them on the side and turning them until they're at least halfway cooked. Really just need to get the color because you can continue to cook it in that wonderful rich gravy we're going to make. So in total, I cooked these for about 12 minutes. You just judge it based on how yours are looking as you're cooking. As I told you before, they're not really staying round, but that is perfectly normal because you know what? My mouth don't know what shape it is, okay, honey? And it's going to go down the same way, but it's going to be super delicious. I'm going to put these to the side, and I actually did my meatballs in 2 batches. So this was 1 batch, and then I did another one. And I'm going to get ready for our sauce. Here's the other half of that finely minced onion. I'm going to put that in. And the next thing is optional, but I decided to really finely grind some baby Bella mushrooms. You don't have to use this, but these mushrooms, when they're cut this small, they really give a wonderful umami rich flavor to the dish. Even if you don't like mushrooms, you may really love it in this dish because the mushrooms really just dissolve and become super tender. As you can see, I also add in a teaspoon of freshly ground garlic, and I really cook this until these mushrooms have released all their liquid and become really dry. Then I put in a little butter and I add in some water to get all the fondant and all those sticky bits that have caramelized on the bottom of the pan up. Doing this really ensures that you have a great rich flavor in your gravy, so it is just totally perfect to put that water in and get up all those caramelized spices. really, really amazing. I'm now going to put in 2 teaspoons of Better Than Bouillon roasted chicken flavor. You can skip the heavy cream if you want, but I'm going to swirl in about half a cup of heavy cream because we all know cream is just tasty, honey. It's just so tasty. So a half a cup of cream is good enough, and I'm going to let this boil down and reduce. And I'm going to flavor it just a pinch, just a little bit of salt, a little pinch of that all-purpose seasoning, just a little pinch of garlic powder is all it needed, and it was perfect and ready to go. I'm going to add back in these chicken meatballs and the juices. Honey, you cannot forget the juices because those juices are super flavorful, and this chicken is going to cook in this delicious gravy for about 5 to 7 minutes, and just so all the flavors can marry together and, you know, get all cozy with each other. That's what you want with your dish. This dish would be so wonderful with egg noodles. It would be great with mashed potatoes or rice. Oh, a pasta. This would be so amazing. Tell me in the comments, what would you serve this dish with? I've already told you what I would do. Look at the up close of this food. I just love this. I put a little parsley on it, you know, trying to be cute. And this dish was done. This is amazing. If you enjoyed this recipe and you want to see flavorful recipes like this every single week, subscribe to this channel. I do not disappoint. I can stand by these recipes and tell you they are doggone good and delicious. Thank you for joining me today, and goodbye.